Hi, I'm Henry Roa. I'm the director of the film The Hardest Love. You're watching The Bennie Randall Show on the Bshani Digital Network.
It's the Bennie Randall Show. It's the Bennie Randall Show. It's the Bennie Randall Show. It's the Bennie Randall Show.
Welcome to another edition of the Bennie Randall Show. I'm your host, Bennie Randall Jr., aka The Motivator. And this powerful show brings you conversations with today's stars and tomorrow's legends. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Come on.
It's the Bennie Randall Show. 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 I love the Bennie Randall. I love the Bennie Randall. I love the Bennie Randall Show. Yeah. I love the Bennie Randall. I love the Bennie Randall. I love the Bennie Randall Show. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bennie Randall Jr., aka The Motivator, and you are joining me on another episode of the Bennie Randall Show. But before we begin, you know how you can reach me, right? You can reach me at BennieRandall.com, or you can go to BR26.com and see all of these powerful episodes. Season 2 is on fire. And as we continue to dive into the indie filmmaking process, we have the extraordinary executive producer and director of The Hardest Love. His name is Mr. Henry Roa. Thank you for being on the Bennie Randall Show, sir.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's exciting.
I appreciate you being here. I know you have a busy schedule, so we're going to get right into it. Explain to those who may not have been here, we had Frankie Ramos on another episode. He's actually one of the actors in his film, but now you get the nuggets right now. You get the person behind the scenes who made it all happen. He's going to drop some nuggets, and I hope you are taking notes. And if you don't take notes, Google him. Mr. Henry Roa. Sir, tell us about this film, The Hardest Love.
The Hardest Love is a film that centers around a fictional character played by Frankie Ramos called Victor Velasquez. Victor Velasquez is a 80s Latin freestyle artist. For those of you who don't know about freestyle, you might know the different artists such as TKA, Stevie B, you have Coro, who actually plays a role in the film. Anyway, it centers around this character who's trying to stay relevant in today's music scene. He's an old school guy, but he's struggling to make that happen. On top of that, he has a substance abuse problem, and just to add a little bit more, he's juggling, two girls. So you put that together and it explodes, and what comes out of it is a fantastic film called The Hardest Love.
Before we get deep into The Hardest Love and all the other powerful projects he's doing, I want you guys to take a look at the trailer.
A man trying to reclaim his former glory has faced his deepest fears.
They love me and they love my song. My song. The good old days are over, Victor. They're over.
A man torn between two women.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm leaving.
Oh yeah? Well, if you leave, I won't be here when you come back.
Good.
Where the fuck do you think you're going?
Stop it. I'm leaving. It's over.
A man lost and searching for his way back.
Damn, that's a big ass power.
You know what would really kill my mother? If I took this accident too and cut it and watch she choke to death and leave her fucking widow.
To save his life, he must find the hardest love.
What happened last night? I'm good. I made it home.
Fucked up. You don't even realize that you got beat up last night, Victor? It's always the same old shit with you, Victor. Get a kid, get high, and then you get into a fight with like stupid ass off.
You cried wolf so many times that I can't believe anything you say. I just have to believe that you're lying.
Fuck shit. If you want, I could drive around the neighborhood and see if I find him and make sure he's okay.
You have to fight for it with every fiber of your being.
I've gotten myself into a lot of trouble in this industry, you know?
Don't you get it, Papa? That shit is dead. Leave it alone.
Can we talk?
Victor!
The Hardest Love. starring Frankie Ramos as Victor.
Don't think for a minute that I am going to forget all the horrible things that you said to me.
Perla Tonini as Melissa.
But you thought I was gonna let you kiss up on my man all night? And not come see about you? Bitch!
And Geneva Ortiz as Gina. A special appearance by freestyle legend Coro.
Here we go.
Yo, Victor, what the fuck are you doing here?
Came to see your friend, man.
Yeah, right. Like I said, what the fuck are you doing here?
The Hardest Love. Coming soon to a screen near you.
Wow, I can watch this like 1,000 times, man. I'm telling you, this is a powerful movie. It's won a lot of awards, you know, from the film festivals, and it's getting the buzz all over. Okay, let's talk about the art of directing. You know, the concept of this. Where did this story come from? Is this a fiction story? Where did this story come from, and why did you decide to tackle this in a feature film?
The story is fictional. The whole topic of it being a freestyle, Latin freestyle themed film comes from the fact that I grew up during that time, and that music really did influence me. I was actually having a conversation with Frankie Ramos, who again plays Victor Velasquez, the lead character, and we were talking about freestyle, and it was like, wouldn't it be, you know, fun to do something, you know, based on that. What I wanted to do at first was something that involved the actual artists, but I know how it is dealing with you know, some who's gonna have top bill, who's gonna do this, who's gonna that. So I said, you know what, we're gonna take it. If I were to do it, I would do it from scratch, and I would do a fictional character. And if anything, I would have, you know, an artist or two come in just to, you know, to make it legit. And that's exactly what I did. I started writing it, and once I did, I told Frankie about it. Frankie has that look. He's from that time too. He knows what's going on, and I was just like, "Would you, you know, like to do this?" And he was on board, and here we are.
So let me break this process down now.
Okay.
You know, directing is a very hard art. First of all, number one, did you write the script? And second question is, putting all this together, you have a lot of actors in this film. You have a lot of locations, so the logistics on this is incredible. I know it takes a good period of time to put this together. Tell me about the obstacles that you had to overcome to make this project happen.
Obstacles are in abundance when it comes to independent filmmaking. Obviously, the first obstacle that needed to be tackled was financing. How's it going to get financed? I come from a school where I don't have the patience to wait for something to happen, to go to 60,000 meetings to see if somebody will give me money. Somebody will give you money and they want to interject and try to change your story around. That's not what's going to happen. So what I decided...
I feel you right there. I feel you.
We're in a different time now. There's crowdfunding, which is what I did for this film. I went to a crowdfunding site. People donated towards it. I put, you know, some of my own finances in, and I was able to make it happen. I made it work.
That's very powerful. What people don't realize is that, you know, he's speaking of the crowdfunding, and it's a great way to get your project off the ground if you can get people to believe in this project. And a lot of people tend to, you may drop a little scene or teaser, a sizzle reel or something to, you know, get people to become a part of it, and in exchange, you know, they receive some great gifts and awards for being a part of the project. So I think people need to take advantage of that, you know, to bring the type of stories that you're not seeing, you know, in, you know, major media at this moment. And speaking on that, was this a story that you were not seeing in the major films, so that's why you wanted to bring it to light?
It's. I think that there is some truth to that statement, because when I was writing it, the reason why I did freestyle, aside from thinking that it would be cool just because, you know, I'm familiar with the music, is because how many dance movies are out there, you know, hip hop infused hip hop movies. You know, back in the day, we have hip hop movies. We have a ton of rock movies, rock documentaries. But one thing that you really haven't seen is, freestyle. But again, it's a freestyle themed film. So it's not really about freestyle itself. It's about a freestyle artist. So it uncomplicated things for me. So yes, to one point, I did want to do it because the topic had not been touched. But at the same time, it would be a logistical nightmare to try to get the rights and everything for different music and artists to come in. So that had to be taken out of the way. So it was a balancing act, which I was able to pull off.
Oh, that's very, very powerful. Let me ask you something though. Diving into the aspect of creating this film, casting has to be murder because, trying to get the right actors to fill the right parts, how are you able to overcome that? Because, looking at the trailer and looking at little portions of the film that I have been able to see, you seem to have casted it very well. And, in today's world, it's like, to get those big names, you're going to have a big budget before you even turn on the camera. How were you able to get such powerful actors, and was your casting process very intense?
The casting process for one of the characters, her name is China, which is played by Geneva Ortiz, wonderful actress. People love her. That was the most intense one because we actually had to have, we set up the auditions and we had, tons of women actresses that came and they were all fantastic, but, she stood out of all of them. That was the most challenging one. But in trying to keep the budget down and not having to rent studio space to do all this type of stuff for every character or to have a studio for so long, what I decided to do was to have it, basically online. Put your reel on YouTube, send me the link, and I'll do it that way. And that's how I got a majority of my actors. I mean, Frankie I had worked with before, so I already had him. And another character in the film I had worked in my previous film, so I took her. But all the other ones were like that, and it couldn't have worked out any better.
Very, very powerful. See, that's interesting how he used social media. Because right now social media is extremely important. You have the Vimeos, you have the YouTubes, you have the Vines, and there's so many ways to get your ideas out there and get exposure for yourselves. So how important is social media gonna play in the release of this film? Because, not having the budget to be on the trains and on every television show, and be out there because these people have $1 million budgets, but you have created a buzz. The reason why I wanted you on this show, because, every time I'm on social media, I see something, the heart is love, the heart is love. I was like, well, how hard is this love then? You know what I mean? And I started following and Frankie Ramos, how he got to meet, et cetera, and I was like, these guys are really doing it. So how important has social media been to you, and how are you utilizing it to push the film out to the masses?
Social media has been paramount when it comes to The Hardest Love. In fact, I owe much of the success of this film right now to social media. Social media is the way that we were able to create a buzz for it. It's the reason why at the Manhattan Film Festival this past summer in 2014, we won the Buzz Award because we created the most buzz. In that film festival, we were the only film outside of the opening night film, which happened to be a Baldwin film, to sell out.
Wow.
And that happened because we hit social media. There are tons of freestyle forums and groups on Facebook. I hit them all up. Everybody was excited. People showed up. I was surprised to speak to a few filmmakers at that film festival who told me that they didn't even consider using Facebook to push their film. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm trying to raise the money so that I can, promote, like you said, on the subway and things like that. And I was just like, this is free. what are you saying? It's free. Use these resources. If there's anything that I can say is use your resources. I'm broke. I have to do everything that I can. One thing that I will interject when it comes to marketing, and I'm sure that this will come up in our conversation. And the only reason it's fresh in my mind, a friend of mine just finished his independent film. Mm-hmm. He put a sticker of his film on a 50 Shades of Grey poster, and they sent him a fine.
Ooh.
So be very careful with what you do. Use social media.
Wow. See, that's, because I remember there was a time during, back in the days, in I call it the bad boy era, Puff Daddy days, where, people used to flood the streets with their artist posters and flyers. And then you'll wake up in the morning and there's flyers all over New York City. And, to the point the city got tired of it and was like, you know what, we're going to start finding you for every single flyer and poster that is put on city property without you paying for it. And that stopped that immediately when people started receiving checks for $100,000 because they charge you $10 every poster. It wasn't worth it. So social media is very, very valuable. That's intense though. I like, that was a great warning story right there. Okay. Even for myself being a director. So that's very, very intense. Moving on, when you are doing this film, and it takes a period of time, because I know me directing a movie I just finished, it took about 2 years. How do you keep your cast, your production team, and everybody excited about even completing this project over such a long period of time? I don't think people recognize that these films are not made overnight. You know what I mean? You're seeing an hour and 10, 20 minutes of a film, but it took 2 years to create.
Absolutely. That's.
How do you deal with that?
Well, you have to be passionate about what you do. And it has to exude. You just, can you be in my film? Here's my script. It's a good script, right? Yeah. No, you can't do that. You have to be passionate about it, and you have to get them on board. How am I going to convince somebody? First of all, I warn them. I have very limited amount of money. It's going to take a long time. Read the script. If you like it, if you're in love with it the way that I am in love with it, and the way that I am in love with you portraying this character, then I need you on board. And they did. And every time that they came in, whether it was cold, sick, whatever the case may be, they had that passion for it. They have the passion for it because I have the passion for it. I wrote it with that same passion, and when I gave that to them, they felt it, and they stayed on board.
Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. And I want to correct something that Mr. Henry said. He said he's broke. No, he's not broke. He's creative. Okay? Because, broke meaning you have no outs, but you got the project done, and you got a good project. So a broke man can't do that. It takes a whole man to do it. Okay, so I just want to reiterate that by you taking the step and getting people excited about something, because that's very, very hard to do, to get people excited about your project. Okay, and I've noticed the only way you do that is when you have to make people part of the process, and you have to engage them in the process. Okay, and that is very, very powerful. Okay, we're going to be right back with more from Mr. Henry Roa, executive producer and director of The Hardest Love, and we're going to talk about some of his other projects right after these messages from our sponsors.
Yo, what you doing in my car? Oh, Ray, you foul, man. How you do that to me, man?
If I was foul, I'll run your ass over with my car. Get to stepping.
Come on, man. Ray, come on, B. Can't do a brother like that, man. We go way back, man. Come on, man. Yo.
Get the hell out of here.
All right, bro. What's good, you little gold digger?
Who you calling a gold digger, you buster? You no-flavor wannabe Puerto Rican?
Oh, snap, Rico. You ain't Puerto Rican, son?
I'm going to cut up your balls and sell them off on eBay for $10 a ball. The last man that cheated on me fell off my building after I pushed him. He slipped.
Ray, how you think, Jake?
He jumped out my car like a rabbit and took off running like he stole something. We was on our way driving back to play doctor.
Lollipop, how the hell you get in my house? Does everybody have a key to my house?
I hope you drown, you wannabe actor. This is so damn bootleg. I'm so out of here.
I will bust a cap in you, son. I am from the hood. Okay. I will bust a cap in you, homie. Okay. Don't let this white girl stuff fool you. No, I am a straight OG from the city of Compton. Okay. Snoop Dogg. Okay.
If it weren't for the DNA test we did, I wouldn't even believe it was your son. Because what you didn't know, that fine-ass UPS guy that used to come around our house all the time was making special deliveries when you weren't at home. Booyah!
Bang! 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 Bang!
Meow, meow.
Oh, damn
Get the
face.
hell out of here. This ain't no damn casting call. This is a booty call. And I've never heard of no damn director named Pookie.
Ray Ray!
Damn, she's so fine.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Ronnie, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day!
Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Welcome back. Oh man, I tell you, this is one of those shows that, man, I can go on for hours talking to this guy. Being a director myself, I tell you, he is dropping some nuggets on you guys today. If you haven't heard the first half of this show, make sure you go back. In fact, use this show as a reference before you start your film, because the knowledge he is dropping here, it will cost you a lot of money to pick up the phone and call him. Okay? He wouldn't even call me back. I had to email him. You know what I mean? No, it's all good, though. I'm just teasing. Mr. Henry, I really thank you for being on the show. And I want to dive a little deeper into the process of this filmmaking. And you was really dropping some knowledge, on it. So tell me about the process of, film this project, put it all together. Now the editing. Who edited this film? And two, is that a very tedious process?
It is a tedious process. I had a lot to do with the editing. When I couldn't do something, I had people come in. But, I have all the tools necessary, to do it. Mm-hmm. I've been doing it for a long time. And unless something was physically wrong with me, there should be no reason why I wouldn't be able to do it. I had friends who were helping me. That's fine. But again, thinking monetarily, it just makes no sense. If I know how to do it, I have the vision, why wouldn't I do it? Now, I will take a step back and let others watch it. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you get so involved, you don't want to see a scene go. Mm-hmm. But it might not make any sense. It makes sense to you, you wrote it.
Right.
It makes sense to me, I wrote it. Sit back, let somebody else look at it. That can go.
I concur with that, absolutely. Because I think the hardest part of when you bring in a vision together is sometimes, people want to fight you on how they see the vision versus how you as the director see the vision. Not having that major budget, it didn't stop you from completing this project. So what I want to understand, and I want to get to my audience, what are some of the things that, let's just say, new directors are coming into the game? You don't have a multi-camera situation going on. What are some of the things that a new director coming in can learn from what you have learned? Give me 3 powerful things that you have learned being a director and being behind it, because, man, you're the man in charge, because it's going to fall on you. Because if they love it, you the man. If they hate it, you're not a man. Mm-hmm. Elaborate, please.
1, don't think you know everything. All right? Get people on board who know things. Even if it hurts you, or they see it this way. They can't see exactly the way that you're saying, that the lighting, the sound. Get people on board who know what they're doing. Because nothing will kill your film faster than having poor lighting, poor sound. You can have the most beautiful film on earth and you have poor sound, you're done. And poor acting. I'm gonna add a fourth.
Go ahead.
Make sure you have correct lenses. I don't, and I know that we're, what we're doing here, but I have to say this. Right now, when I started filming, you had to film on film. There was no digital. I learned filmmaking, making films. 16 millimeter, take it to the lab, get it done, chop on a Steinbeck, big old.
In layman terms, for those people, I want you to understand the caliber of what he's about to say here, the intensity. Explain to them the difference between being in HD, recorded on an SD card, versus having 16 millimeter, where it's about $300 for a 10-minute piece of roll. Basically. That you have to hope you get it right.
Hope that you get it right, because you don't have enough money to have it color corrected. Okay? So this is the way that I learn. So just because you have the ability to buy yourself a new Canon camera with a nice lens, don't think that that's all you have to do. You got to change that lens. If you look at most everyone's digital filmmaking now, it all looks the same. It's super crispy. You don't know about composition, so you don't know that focal length doesn't belong at that distance. Learn those things first. Start off making short films. Don't think that you're going to be Spielberg on your first try.
There you go.
And get your lenses right. Because people will know when you have a composition of a shot that's over there, but the sound is right here. It doesn't match. You don't notice it when you're watching a movie because they know what they're doing.
Right.
Until you have those components together, don't do it. Learn from others. You direct them. But let them do what they do and learn, and then come back and make your epic piece.
Let me tell you something. If you're not in school right now, taking notes right now, you need to be. Why? And I'm not talking about film school. I'm talking about the school right here. Because if he ain't dropping it, I don't know what dropping it is. I felt like I was talking to T.D. Jakes of film. Okay? That's what it's about right there. And that's why I want to bring you people like that, because a lot of times, especially when it comes to independent filmmaking and directors, you don't get to see the person behind the project, because most people are so in tune to the actors, which is okay, et cetera, et cetera. But remember, without that director, that cinematography, that executive producer, those people don't even get the opportunity to get in front of the camera. So I want you to really pay attention to what he is saying, because he's dropping some knowledge that you would have to pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if you went to school just to learn. And trust me, it's very expensive making mistakes. Trust me, I've spent so much money making mistakes. And when you have the opportunity to learn from people like Mr. Henry, it is in your great interest to pay attention and seek out, follow. Success leaves clues, man. It leaves clues. Now, back to, I just had to go there because he was preaching, man. I was about to say amen up in here. Okay? Shoot. Now, speaking on that aspect of the filmmaking, let's talk about the music aspect, because music does bring a scene and take a scene to a whole different level. The wrong music can make a scene like, why the hell they put that there? And the right music can make that scene become 10 times bigger. Okay? Speak on how did you know what music to put where, and how does it play an important role in what you do?
It plays the utmost role in how, and I would hate to say this word, but it typically is what we're doing, manipulating someone's feelings to feel what you want them to feel, because sometimes the words aren't enough. Sometimes the visuals aren't enough. I want you to feel this way. I want you to feel passionate about something. I want you to feel brave about it. I'm not going to put circus music. I'm going to get, the biggest orchestra that I can to make you feel that way, to make you feel brave. And that's what have to happen. Tip, don't steal anybody's music. You steal people's music, even a snippet, your project will not get done. As soon as it comes up, it's done. Especially now with the copyright things like on YouTube, when you take somebody else's music and you put it in, they give you a warning. So you're using someone else's, they'll take your video off, they'll take your account down. So just be careful with that. When you use the music that soft music, you know you're gonna get heartfelt. You got powerful music, action. You know, the drums, action, car chases.
And speaking on that aspect, there's so many ways, because right now there are so many companies out there that let you pay a flat fee, and you can get royalty-free music, and therefore taking yourself out of that situation that, you know, you put this fabulous film together and you're playing it somewhere and somebody hears a second of some of their music and you have not been given permission. Now you got to go back and either re-edit it out and find something else to fit that, or, you know, they may even want some money for what you've already done. So that's a very important part. But there's tons of places out there that you can pay flat fees to be able to get royalty-free music. Did you utilize some of those things? Or did you just have your friends come in and beat the drums?
No, I did have people who gave me original music, but I did use music that was royalty free. With that, you also have to be careful because there are stipulations sometimes when it comes to royalty free music. Sometimes you can only use it a certain amount of it. So be sure that when you get it, that you know that you read it and that you make sure that you know exactly what it is. You know, so that you don't go overboard, or that you can only use it in certain projects, but it can't be broadcast. And make money off of it, because then they might come back to you. So just read the fine print. But yes, it's a wonderful resource. It's the best thing that you can do, and you can get fantastic music. I use it myself, and to great effect.
And I'm gonna tell you, you know, we will give you some resources on our website where you can go and if that's what you are attempting to do. And I just really hope that you guys learned, you know, some very important, because a lot of times I feel Mr. Henry so much, man. It's like I could talk to him for like hours, okay? Because I'm like right there in that moment, and a lot of that. I wish I had someone prior to making my film, which took me 2 years to do, that could drop that information. So this is what I am attempting to do. This is my give back on the Bennie Randall Show. That's why I want to do this series of independent filmmakers who are really making moves and creating buzz with limited resources, but they are making a splash via social media. They're making a splash and buzz, creating, you know, worldwide, and that's what this is about. Before we go, Henry, I want you to give me a summary of what people, give me a breakdown of some advice that you can give to new cats in the game. I know you're still on the come up also and doing your thing, but you have accomplished a lot, because I'm gonna tell you, it's by you can't dilute what you have already done. You know, it's an incredible task to film, but it's another incredible task to actually complete it. Okay, what can you offer our viewers?
The best thing that I can offer is what I said before. It's just like learn from others. Surround yourself with people who know, and then emulate them. That is the biggest thing that I can say was the greatest gift for me. I wish I would have done it a little bit earlier, but don't think that you know everything just because you watch a lot of movies. It takes a lot more than that. Surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, emulate them, thank them.
Very, very powerful. And I hope y'all get that. You heard what he said? Thank them, okay? Before we go, where can people find out more about you and your projects? And the time is going so actually fast that, you know, we didn't even really get to go even some other stuff. But where can people learn more about you, what you're doing, maybe come to the premieres, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, you can definitely catch me on social media, Henry B. Roa. You can find me on Facebook. on Instagram, Twitter, all of them do the same thing. Henry B, as in boy, Roa, R-O-A. You can go to the film's website, thehardestlove.com. You can find all the information there about the cast and crew, watch clips, and upcoming screenings. Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Very powerful, very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope in this series of things, and we got some more powerful people coming up in more powerful episodes. And what I want you to go away from this episode is this. It all starts with you. You have an idea, you have a vision. And in that vision, it's up to you to get others to see that vision and be a part of it. And the only way that people become a part of something and be excited about it, if you are excited about it, if you can engage them, if you can benefit them also. And I like something Mr. Henry said earlier in our conversation, and that was, don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to sit back and learn, because you don't know everything. Regardless, you know, I have a team of people that help the Bennie Randall show and everything else we do that you don't see. It takes a team of people to do it, whether you have 1, 2, or 30 people. It takes a lot of people to make it happen. Make sure you go out and check out The Hardest Love. We'll definitely have him back on another episode and his upcoming projects. It was absolutely, I enjoyed this show immensely. I am Bennie Randall Jr., aka The Motivator. You can reach out to me at BennieRandall.com, or you can go to BR26.com and watch all these powerful episodes. I told you season 2 was going to be on fire, and we just getting started. Until next time, like I always say, it's not a game, it's a lifestyle. You make your world what you want your world to be. Good night. God bless.